Okay, so now that you know how to write an accurate and fair summary where you give credit to the writer for his or her ideas, you want to learn how to respond to the text you summarize. Now, in college and sometimes in your professions, summarizing won't be enough. Your reader will want to know your opinion of the article you read as well. So they want to show or know first that you understand it through your summary, and they want to know how you would respond. In your textbook, The Prentice Hall Essential Guide for College Writers, Stephen Reed states, good responses say what you think about the text you've read, but then they show why you think so. Okay, so here's a note. Your book lists 3 different types of responses that you'll use in college and that you will definitely use in your research argument essay this semester, but we're going to focus on just one kind of response in this video because that's what I want to see you do for your writing group this week. So the first type of response is the agreeing or disagreeing response, okay? This is where you agree with the ideas in the text you read or you disagree. There's kind of 3 components to this. You give your reaction to the text you read, you explain why you agree or disagree, and you provide a reason or example to support your response. So let's go back to my summary here. That's the first paragraph that you've already read. The second paragraph is my response, okay? So let me read it to you real quick. In my view, however, it is the parents and not the food chains who are responsible for their children's obesity. While it is true that many of today's parents work long hours, there are still several things parents can do to guarantee that their children eat healthy foods. For example, parents should keep the house stocked with healthy fruits and vegetables. When children have healthy snacks at home, they are less likely to venture out to eat at fast food chains. Okay, let's break it down a little bit to see if it actually meets these 3 parts of an agreeing or disagreeing response. So, does it state my reaction to the text that I read? I think it does in this first sentence, where I say, in my view, however, it's not the food chains that are who are to blame, right? I believe the blame should be placed more on parents, which differs a little bit from Zinczenko's argument. Let's go back to the rules. The second bullet point here says, I need to explain why I agree or disagree with what the writer says. Okay, back to my example. That second sentence in the second paragraph. I say, while it's true that many of today's parents work long hours, there are still several things parents can do to guarantee that their children eat healthy foods. So, in a way, I'm agreeing. I'm saying, okay, yes, I agree that parents work long hours, but here's what I have to say about that. Now I want to provide a reason or example to support my response. Let's go back. For example, parents should keep the house stocked with healthy fruits and vegetables, and so on, right? I'm giving my thought, and then I'm explaining why I think that, or why I think my idea is a good option for how to solve whatever problem it is that Zinczenko is talking about. So right now you've seen kind of the steps to writing a summary, the general guidelines for writing a response. Your response may be longer than this. I don't know. If you summarize 3 of a writer's supporting points, you may have 3 specific sentences that respond to each of those points, right? It kind of depends. There's no set word length, but remember the guidelines that if a book is long, your response might be longer. If an article is short, your response will be on the shorter side. So because I'm going to ask you to write your own summary of Don't Blame the Eater, I want to give you these little templates that might get you started when you write that summary. So these are template phrases that you can use to introduce your summary, all right? So you might say, in her article, fill in the blank, so-and-so argues, fill in the blank, or he explains that, or Zinczenko argues that, okay? So feel free to use these. You might have your own. These are absolutely not the only options. For your agreeing and disagreeing response, you might consider using some of these templates as well. This first paragraph lists templates for a response that agrees with the writer and a response that would explain why you agree with the writer. The second paragraph here has 2 options for disagreeing with the article. Again, fill in the blanks, but these might help you get started about how to put your own ideas into writing. And finally, this last bullet point is a template for someone who agrees on certain points but generally does not agree, right? Or might object to the conclusion of an article. So return to these later when you're writing your summary. Right now, let's talk real quickly about avoiding plagiarism, and then this video will be done and you can begin writing your own summary. Plagiarism is knowingly and deliberately using language, ideas, or visual materials of another person or source without acknowledging the person or source. Okay, so basically what this means is whenever you use information that came from anything you read, from a website, from a book, from an article, you need to give credit to that person or to that source. All right, you cannot pretend that those ideas belong to you. And it's not bad to use sources. In fact, using sources shows that you've done homework, that you're a responsible researcher and writer. You just have to remember to give credit. You need to do this with every summary you write, every analysis you write, every paper you write. So, I actually avoided plagiarism right here in this presentation. The definition I gave you came for your Prentice Hall Essential Guide for College Writers textbook, and because I'm using the author, Stephen Reed's, exact words, I put parentheses at the end of the quotation. Those parentheses include his name and then the page number. That means you could look at your book, you can go to page 133 and find these exact words here. I avoided plagiarism. Now, if I didn't have the parentheses in the quotations and I just stuck those words on the screen and didn't give credit, I would be plagiarizing the author of our textbook. I also avoided plagiarism in my summary by using those author tags. So every time I summarized the author's main claim or supporting point, I mentioned his name, and that means I'm giving him credit, right? I'm not trying to pretend that any idea is my own. Even here with this definition of summary, it comes from your textbook from Stephen Reed, so I have my quotations to show that these are the exact words in the book. I give his name and the page number.